Assalamualaikum, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're now with me, Yusuf Shukri, for TVS Nightline. Here are the headlines for tonight's edition. Crimea storm left over 400,000 people without electricity. Over in Sarawak, police to beef up security in conjunction with Anwar's presence at Global Muslim Business Forum in Kuching tomorrow. And AirAsia announced a major expansion for 2024. A man on the Russian-annexed peninsula was killed, with initial reports indicating wind speeds surpassing 140 kilometers per hour in Crimea. Now, hurricane-force winds and intense rains over the weekend, which left about 425,000 people without power on Monday. Meanwhile, local report described the storm like an Armageddon scenario.
Что непогода принесла существенный ущерб в целом инфраструктуре Республики Крым. Однако вот я уже обозначил основные направления, по которым идет работа, связанная с восстановлением. В общем, еще раз говорю, электроэнергия в первую очередь. 425 тысяч человек без света – это, конечно, тяжелая ситуация. Планируем максимально восстановить электроэнергию в течение 2 суток, но это максимальное, соответственно, время.
Back in Sarawak, the police will beef up security in view of Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim's presence at the Global Muslim Business Forum, or GMBF, scheduled from tomorrow until November 30th at the Borneo Kuching Convention Centre, BCCK. Sarawak Police Commissioner Datuk Mancha Atta said the move was to ensure the safety of Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, who was reported to have received death threats. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Razaruddin Hussain said the police had received a report on death threats made against the Prime Minister. Yesterday, a screenshot from a video on social media gained widespread attention, and in the video, a user allegedly offered 5 million ringgit to anyone willing to harm the Prime Minister, ministers and politicians. The video has since been removed. Mancha said a total of 559 police officers, including 70 senior police officers, will be deployed throughout the forum. Sarawak Premier Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunopeng is expected to attend, including ministers and ambassadors, together with 718 participants, including moderators and speakers from 48 countries. Now, AirAsia announced a major expansion of its services in 2024. In a press statement, the CEO of Capital A Berhad, Tan Sri Tony Fernandez, said more than 230 weekly flights will be established, covering international destinations in China and India, as well as domestic flights with up to 4.2 million seats annually.
Tony anticipated that there will be a surge in travel demand after the 30-day visa-free entry for travelers from China and India comes into effect on December 1st, 2023. This also coincided with China's recent announcement of easing travel restrictions to Malaysia on the same date. As one of the vital players in the aviation sector, Tony said AirAsia will continue to provide affordable flights for the region. Additionally, CEO of AirAsia Aviation Limited Group, Bo Lingam, estimates that about 4.6 million travelers are expected to travel via AirAsia's routes in both of the aforementioned countries. As the largest foreign low-cost carrier in China, both AirAsia Malaysia and AirAsia X Malaysia fly 17 routes into the country, with a total of 156 flights weekly. AirAsia and AirAsia X fly from Kuala Lumpur to Guangzhou, Kunming, and Guilin. Besides that, both airlines have also increased frequencies to 9 routes in India, with a total of 74 flights weekly, where AirAsia flies from Kuala Lumpur to Bengaluru, Kolkata, Cochin, Hyderabad, Chennai, Trichy, and Trivandrum, a new destination starting from February 2024.
Phase one of the Kuching Urban Transportation System, or KUTS, project currently stands at 14.43% completion. Similarly, Minister of Transport Sarawak, Datuk Seri Lee Kim Shin, said the groundwork for the Rembus Depot progress is at 33.54%, eyeing a completion in the first quarter of 2024.
The capital expenditure has reached 403.43 million ringgit, reflecting the financial commitment to advancing this transformative project.
He added that several other tenders for KUTS Phase 1 project are at various stages, while the tender for Rembus Depot and associated works was closed in September.
Subsequently, the tender for Red Line Package 1, including the scope of works for ART land, stations, systems and utility works from Kuching Central to Pending, was closed on October 2023.
Additionally, Lee remarked that the ART engineering run at Isthmus concluded on November 5th, following which the prototype ART vehicle was mobilized to Samarahan for the continuation of the proof of concept POC exercise, which commenced on November 20th.
This exercise provides an opportunity to assess the viability of the system in an actual operational environment, as it stimulates the testing conditions for the future of ART dedicated double lane under the KUTS project's Blue Line and Transit Signal Priority TSP at the junction.
He added that the POC exercise on the dedicated 2.6-kilometer lane along the Kuching-Samarahan Expressway is expected to conclude by the end of this year. At the same time, works on the Blue Line Package 1 from Rembus to Riveria will commence on 1st December 2023, while commencement of works on Red Line from Kuching Central to Pending will begin in the first quarter of next year. The Sarawak government has streamlined the criteria and processes for individuals seeking recognition as natives under the Interpretation Amendment Ordinance 2022. Minister in the Premier's Department, Datuk Seri John Siki Tayai, highlights the two avenues for attaining native status, with the first involving an application before the Resident Native Court as per the Native Courts Ordinance 1992.
This is a lengthy process, and the applicant must fulfill certain conditions and requirements provided for under the Native Code Rules 1993, such as proficient in the language or dialect of the native community, and he practices or conform to the custom and culture of that native community that he wants to be identified with.
Meanwhile, the second method is through the Interpretation Amendment Ordinance 2022, which came into effect on November 1st, 2023.
This is to ensure that they are suitable, reasonable, and practical as compared with the condition, requirement, and process under the previously mentioned Native Code Rules 1993.
Among the conditions that applicants must satisfy to be recognized as a native include the applicant must be a Malaysian citizen, a natural-born child of a native of Sarawak, and one of the applicant's parent is a native of Sarawak. Meanwhile, applications for newborn babies can be made by one of his natural parents. Previously, in 2022, the Sarawak Dun unanimously passed the Interpretation Amendment Bill 2022, which, among others, considers a child from a mixed marriage a native, even if only one of the parents is a native. Now, over 198 dilapidated schools in Sarawak have been repaired and upgraded, said Minister of Education, Innovation and Talent Development, Datuk Roland Sagawiin. While another 309 schools are at various stages of implementation.
However, in 2019, the Ministry of Education, Federal Ministry, redefined dilapidated buildings category into a scale from 1 to 7, with scale 6 and 7 being the worst lot. That is upon verification by technical personnel from JPNS and Jabatan Kerja Raya or JKR. From this redefined category, there are 461 currently under Scale 6 and 7. These categories are given top priority for repair and upgrading works. In relation to this, I would like to update members of this August House that to date, 198 schools repair and upgrading projects have been completed. So don't confuse the one that is mentioned by the Ministry of Education Malaysia. While another 309 schools are at various stages of implementation.
He said this in his ministerial winding-up speech at the State Legislative Assembly earlier today. However, in 2019, he said the Ministry of Education, MOE, redefined the dilapidated buildings category on a scale from 1 to 7, with scale 6 and 7 being the worst. Meanwhile, in a press conference, he noted that some of the schools were relocated for safety concerns due to their close proximity to the riverbanks, adding that the Premier of Sarawak, Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Jari Tunopeng, has also approved state allocations for the said purpose.
Now, the appointment of Petros Niaga Sdn Bhd as the sole distributor of liquefied petroleum gas LPG in Sarawak, effective December 1st, will not affect the jobs of existing suppliers. Minister of Utility and Telecommunication, Datuk Sri Julai Hinarawi, said that this transition is similar to the takeover by My Gas Sdn Bhd from Shell in 2013.
Dengan ini tidak timbul isu kehilangan pekerjaan seperti yang didakwakan oleh pihak yang berkaitan, yang mana juga semasa My Gas Sdn Bhd mengambil alih operasi daripada Shell pada tahun 2013. Maknanya the situation is the same. Kementerian saya amat yakin Petros Niaga dengan kekuatan sebanyak 65 dealer serta 280 sub-dealer akan memberi peluang pekerjaan kepada ribuan rakyat Sarawak.
Julai, he assured that it is the right time for the Sarawak government-owned subsidiary to be appointed as the distributor of subsidized LPG in Sarawak following the expiration of My Gas's license on November 30th. Recently, his ministry opted against renewing the subsidized LPG license for My Gas, paving the way for Petros Niaga to assume the exclusive distributorship for the subsidized LPG market, covering more than 700,000 gas cylinders across Sarawak.
Kementerian saya percaya keupayaan Petros Niaga untuk memastikan bekalan gas LPG bersubsidi adalah mencukupi serta mampu membekalkan standard perkhidmatan yang tinggi dan sekaligus menyumbang kepada kesejahteraan ekonomi Sarawak.
Sarawak Ministry of Utility and Telecommunications through the Sarawak Multimedia Authority SMA will develop a digital application wayleaf permits to streamline the execution of telecommunications projects in the state. And its Minister, Datuk Sri Julai Hinarawi, said that this initiative aims to ensure a more efficient and effective processing of wayleaf permit applications.
Ini boleh mengurangkan masalah izin lalu, seterusnya memastikan projek dapat dilaksanakan tanpa kelewatan.
He noted that amendments to the Electricity Ordinance, subsection Amendment 2023, which was passed, authorized Sarawak Energy as the electrical license holder to enter site locations for the purpose of implementation, repair and maintenance of electrical projects.
Sistem aplikasi digital ini kelak akan diperluas untuk pelaksanaan projek bekalan air dan elektrik.
Coming up right after the break, 30-day visa-free entry for visitors from China and India. And in world news, immense relief as UN deliveries to northern Gaza ramp up. Right here on TVS Nightline. Stay tuned.
without enough qualified social workers, people with disability.
Welcome back. Now, the government will grant a 30-day visa-free entry for citizens of China and India from December 1st to commemorate 50-year strategic partnership between Malaysia and China.
Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said it is an additional facility to the existing visa exemptions currently enjoyed by citizens from Gulf countries and other West Asian nations, including Turkey and Jordan.
Kita mulai 1 Disember ini, kita akan berikan tambahan daripada negara Arab dan Turki dan Jordan, kemudahan kepada negara rakyat China dan India untuk ke Malaysia. Pengecualian visa selama 30 hari. Tapisan awal ini dibuat bagi semua pelancong atau pelawat ke negara Malaysia. Kerana soal keselamatan itu soal berasingan. Kalau ada rekod jenayah ataupun risiko keganasan, maka visa tidak akan dibenarkan. Ini wewenang pasukan keselamatan termasuk immigration.
On the same development, the 30-day visa exemption for Chinese and Indian tourists not only makes Malaysia competitive with other tourist destinations, but also a long-term economic strategy for the country. Geostrategist and senior fellow at the Nusantara Strategic Research Academy NASR, Associate Professor Dr. Azmi Hassan, states that this is the first step in preparing industry players for the broader market that tourists from these two countries will bring.
Citing Thailand as an example, Dr. Azmi said tourists from China and India do not require visa to enter the country, and this indirectly strengthened Thailand's economy, especially in the tourism sector.
Pesaing terdekat dalam menarik pelancong daripada India dan juga China adalah Thailand. Dan kita agak tertewas sedikit, bukan kerana khidmat yang ditawarkan Thailand itu lebih baik, bukan kerana tempat melawat di Thailand itu lebih menarik, tidak. Tapi kerana Thailand tidak mengenakan visa kepada pelancong India dan China. Dan kalau digabungkan jumlah kedatangan pelancong India dan China ke Thailand, itu yang menyebabkan jumlah pelancong ke Thailand begitu jauh berbeza, lebih tinggi daripada Malaysia.
In addition, Dr. Azmi stated that 2026 is Visit Malaysia year, hence industry players need to be prepared to compete economically in providing tourist experiences to visitors from these two countries.
China umpamanya, lebih kurang dikatakan 120 juta rakyat mereka mampu untuk melancong ke luar negara. Ini satu pasaran yang agak luas, amat luas sekali. Dan dibandingkan dengan Singapura, Indonesia dan pelancong dari China, pelancong China adalah dikatakan yang paling banyak berbelanja. Seorang bukan saja paling banyak berbelanja lebih kurang RM5,000, tetapi mereka tinggal lebih lama di Malaysia dalam 6 hingga 7 hari berbanding dengan Singapura lebih kurang 1 hari yang paling lama, ataupun Indonesia 2-3 hari. Jadi ini dah dikatakan untuk menarik pelancong China lagi, maka diberikan pengecualian mendapatkan visa selama 30 hari.
Earlier, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim announced a 30-day visa exemption for tourists from China and India starting from December 1st. However, The visa exemption is subject to security screening for all tourists from both countries intending to enter Malaysia. Currently, the existing visa exemptions is enjoyed by citizens from Gulf countries such as Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates UAE, Iraq and Iran, and other West Asian nations, including Turkey and Jordan.
On to our next news, the Rahmah Cash Aid STR program or any other version of Cash Aid will have a high impact on the finances of the B40 lower income group, which in turn spurs the economy through their spending. Deputy Minister of Finance 1, Datuk Seri Ahmad Maslan, emphasized that the STR is the highest cash assistance in the country's history, where the economically attuned government prioritizes its people cost of living.
Maslan added further that the current STR mechanism disbursing the payments directly through two methods, credited to recipients' registered bank accounts in the STR database or distributed in cash at BSN branches for those without a bank account. Meanwhile, recipients in the interior of Sabah and Sarawak without bank accounts will in turn receive cash payments coordinated by the Malaysian Treasury in their respective regions. A total of 10 billion ringgit was allocated for the STR program to benefit approximately 9 million beneficiaries in 2024. Launched this year, Sumbangan Asas Rahmah (SARA) is a component of STR designed to offer cashless assistance to hardcore poor recipients through identification cards, facilitating access to essential goods, particularly food.
Sarah?
Welcome back. The United Nations aid groups were on track to deliver the biggest shipment in over a month. A UN official who took part in a humanitarian aid convoy to northern Gaza on Sunday reported that thin, gaunt residents slacking their thirsts as soon as water arrived.
Before a 4-day truce between Israel and Hamas got underway on Friday, UN agencies had voiced fears of disease and dehydration in the north, cut off from outside aid for weeks in a siege within a siege. The UN previously said it could not get safe passage, and medical groups who remained active like the International Red Cross came under fire there. Spokesperson for the United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF took part in a 5-truck convoy on Sunday alongside other UN agencies delivering high-energy biscuits, vitamin tablets for children, as well as medical kits. According to Elder, the deliveries were made to hospitals where rations were controlled. Even as the aid deliveries flowed north, Elder said he saw hundreds of Gazans heading in the other direction, fearing the renewal of Israeli bombardment if the 4-day truce is not prolonged.
Wrapping up the Nightline, former airline boss Christopher Luxon formally took office as New Zealand's Prime Minister on Monday, vowing to tame inflation and bring down interest rates. Luxon took over 6 weeks after his Conservative National Party won national elections, ending a 6-year Labour Party reign ushered in by Jacinda Ardern. Luxon, 53, once Chief Executive of Air New Zealand, was sworn in as the head of a new coalition government by New Zealand's Governor-General in a ceremony in the capital, Wellington.
Thank you, New Zealand, because from all over your country, this great country, you have reached for hope and you have voted for change. Our government will deliver for every New Zealander. Because we will rebuild the economy and deliver tax relief. We will bring down the cost of living. We will restore law and order. We will deliver better health care. And we will educate our children so that they can grow up to live the lives that they dream of.
Luxon becomes the 42nd Prime Minister of New Zealand after cobbling together a coalition government in protracted talks that came to an end on Friday, 6 weeks after the election. His National Party has formed a 3-party coalition with the Conservative ACT and Populist New Zealand First parties to govern in the 123-seat parliament.
See the world closer with TVS as we bring you the latest news updates both locally and internationally. Just a click away by heading onto our website at www.tvstv.my or by following us on our social media platforms. And that's all the time we have for tonight's TVS Nightline. Once again, I'm Yusuf Shukri. Thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum and good night.